Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, and I heard some good feedback from people regarding the idea of discussing the Jewish calendar and the power of the Jewish year. So we will move forward with that plan. And I think that just to give you a little bit of background, so our companion through this journey is going to be this book, The Book of Our Heritage by Rabbi Eliyahu Kitov. Rabbi Eliyahu Kitov was a great rabbi. He was born in Europe. He eventually immigrated to Israel and died there, I think in the 70s. So he was he wrote many books and many important works, but this book called The Book of Our Heritage, which is actually a translation of Sefer HaTorah, which he wrote, goes through the entire year. And it discusses different customs that we have and different traditions and different laws, and then it discusses the holidays, but not just the holidays, but different things that took place in the Chumash, in the Torah, different times of the year, and they're all there to ultimately to challenge us to try to look at the world in a new way, and to challenge the narratives that we have, the preconceived notions that we walk through this world with. And that is the exciting power of the Jewish year and the Jewish calendar. And if we know what's going on and we know what the energy and the uniqueness is, then we will be able to go ahead and tap into that. So we find ourselves right now in the tail end of the month of Sivan. And next week, I think it's Thursday night, is the beginning of the month of Tammuz. So we have about a week left in the month of Sivan. And Sivan, the power of Sivan is Torah. And the reason why Sivan is the month of Torah is because in the beginning of the month of Sivan, just a few weeks ago, we celebrated the holiday of Shavuot. And Shavuot is the holiday where we don't celebrate, because we don't just celebrate in Judaism, we relive, we tap into, we re-experience the power of the Torah being given by God to the Jewish people on Mount Sinai. So we have a couple days left in this month, and I think what I want to try to use these last couple days for is to discuss something very important which we need to have a good handle on as Jewish students, and that is the role of the oral Torah vis-a-vis the written Torah. So that's what we'll focus on for the next few days, but I'll just give you one little bit of a mind bender for you to think about. See, I think that we have this misunderstanding. First of all, many people have never even heard of the Oral Torah. And if they have, they associate it with some sort of later, subsequent, human-imposed rabbinical commentary of some sort onto the Torah. When in fact, that's not at all what Oral Torah is. Now here's the thought, and we'll develop this more. Oral Torah actually preceded the written Torah. That's right. The oral Torah came first. The written Torah is the notes, the cliff notes, if you will, on the oral Torah. The oral Torah was transmitted directly, orally, by God to Moshe, to Moses at Mount Sinai. And the written Torah was dictated later throughout the 40 years that the Jewish people were traveling in the desert to reconstruct some of the major points of the Oral Torah. So we will develop this theme, hopefully get some clarity on Oral Torah versus written Torah in these final days of the month of Torah. And then we'll move on, God willing, to discuss Tammuz, which is a challenging month, a difficult month, and we'll see. Okay, so have a great day, everybody, and stay tuned.